Welcome back, 9:26, and whether it's taking extra care while carving the Thanksgiving turkey, stretching before the annual family football game, or using the proper technique to shovel a path to Grandma's house, plenty of tips to keep in mind. That way you can avoid injuries this holiday season.
So we have here to share some of those tips, Dr. Timothy McManus, sports medicine surgeon at Summit Orthopedics. And Dr. McManus, I'm laughing because I was deep cleaning the basement yesterday. And
good for you.
Is it though? Is it though?
I was sore when I was done.
Yeah, right.
Well, we have a lot of people coming over
Yeah.
and who they're going to play in the basement. But I was like, I probably should have stretched maybe something
Yeah, it's
before
always.
this.
I think that a lot of us will be hit with that, with Thanksgiving tradition of doing football games or whether it's the turkey trot. A lot of us getting back into our athletic selves, and I'll speak for myself too. You kind of have that mindset of being an athlete, but we're a little bit older now.
Yeah.
So it's good to not so much on you, but I'll take that. But it does take a little bit of time to warm up, and it's something that can help prevent muscle strains,
Right.
and that those injuries take some time to recover from. So taking the time to warm up and stretch, a good reminder as we go into some of these athletic events that we have with our families.
I'm thinking for anyone who's doing any of the meat prep, whether that's the turkey, the ham, whatever it may be, got to know what you're doing, because if you're using one of those electric carvers, you can get some serious trouble fast.
Yeah, right. I feel like I should have my father-in-law, Tony, next to me, because he's the one who does it in our family for a lot of years, and I haven't had to stitch him up on the kitchen counter yet. So he's got good tips, and I think kind of just the common reminders of when you have the sharp utensils, it's, mind hand space awareness is always helpful, and kids running around is kind of that responsibility. And then anytime you can get your hands away, kind of the obvious advice, but away from where you're cutting and using some of those sharp utensils, either stabilize with a fork or another utensil. Those are things that can, keep you out of the ED or urgent care room from accidentally slipping and cutting yourself.
Now, I know there's no snow in the forecast coming up, at least for Thanksgiving, but it's going to be very cold, meaning snow we know is on the way, and that's going to, when you're talking about getting out the snow blowers, getting out the shovels, and that's also something we're not really used to.
Yeah, and unfortunately on the orthopedic side, this snow blower, one of the best inventions for us Minnesotans to help get rid of all the snow, but can have devastating consequences if you just kind of take at one moment to remind yourself not to reach in there, because it's something that we've seen propellers kind of get kicked into motion. That can have some tough consequences for your hands and limbs. So just if it does get jammed, just taking the second to unplug the power before you start reaching in there, or using a broomstick, or if you're outside, a stick to kind of help dislodge it, specifically the snowblower. That's something that can help keep you out.
I'm curious to know, based on what you're seeing right now, because we're just getting in, switching the seasons, is there an injury that you're seeing common now that we typically don't see right now, or no?
I think a lot of it with it getting a little bit icy at times, we're not quite into that world yet, but as Minnesota, that can change pretty quickly.
We know.
But falls, even just common falls, especially with our grandparents and things, that can have some tough consequences of hip fractures and rib injuries, fractured ribs. That can be pretty tough. So I think kind of always just going out, assuming that there's ice when it starts to get winter months, and taking some caution, or leaning on for the younger guys and girls to kind of help out the elderly people to get around is something that's always nice to do, and can help prevent injuries too.
Okay, well, be careful at your turkey trots, be careful at your family football games.
Just be careful.
Dr. McManus, thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
And
Fun to
happy
be with you.
Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys too.